Hi, it's me Debbie again, and I'm here today with another tutorial for you. And in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make your own washi tape. Let's see what you need, okay? So what you need, of course, is some inks, and you can use any kind of inks, but I like to use Stay-On because it dries the fastest and it's permanent. But I don't owe very much color, so you can also use distress inks, but remember it takes quite some hours to dry, and some pigments or chalk inks. And besides the inks you'll need something to roll your tape on, and I'm just using the inside of a roll of foil, and you are to the end of it, you'll see you have a roll left over, and that's nice and sturdy, and I just cut off a couple of pieces to use my tape on, and that I do with a craft knife. So you also need a heavy craft knife, and I'm using a Fat Max Stanley one, but I use it for all my crafts. You'll need some kind of scissors, of course, for the tape, and then the tape, of course, itself. And when you go to buy some tape, it's just masking tape you use when you paint walls and anything, or your door or anything like that. So you'll find that it has various sizes, and you can try any size you like, of course. And for this tutorial we'll be using the small size because I can fit more on a roll, so I have more to show you. And sometimes you can even find it in different colors, because this one is especially a low-tech one, designed for you call sensitive surfaces, and this comes in a pink lilac color. So maybe you can find anything like that. If you don't, you probably just find a ivory color like I found here. And then, of course, to make the patterns on the tape you'll need some stamps, and actually you can use any kind of stamp you want to see a design of. And I've been using some background stamps, but I've also been using border stamps. They're quite efficient to use, but I've even been using some patterned stamps, so I'll show you anything like it. And to clean off your surface you'll need some baby wipes or anything like it, and some paper towels. And I'm just going to work on a old cutting mat, but because I don't mind if ink comes on it because I have a spare. But you can also use a craft sheet or anything like it. And I do have this small little thing. It's actually for baking, but I think it's quite the same like a craft mat, but it's too small to work with today for this tutorial, so I'll just use my craft mat. So okay, I'll get things cleaned out and we can start the tutorial. Okay, here I am again with an empty cutting mat, and first I'll show you a couple of tapes I did, and this is one of them. It's quite bright in here, so just do it like this, and it's actually a tape with a print on it, like numbers and well, letters actually. You can see. Maybe if I put it against a white surface, yeah, that's better. So that's one. We're just using a background stamp, and I've made a small one with vintage buttons with a border stamp. And I've made a couple just using a grid background stamp, and this is just in a gray color, but I've also used a, well, it's plum pink, I think, something like that. And it's a bit broader than this one. And then this is one of my favorites actually, is using a bubble wrap background stamp, creating cute dots. And here's again the script, so you can see even better. Come on. So, how cool is that, right? Okay, let's start to make some of our own. Okay, so before you're going to stamp the tissue tape, you'll need to make a inside ring, or at least I do. And I just use a piece of tape that I wrap around. Like this, so I have a guide to cut alongside, and I just rip it off. And I have myself a guide. So when that's taped on, I grab my knife and just going to cut alongside the tape. And I just go around the inside to smoothen out the edges. And there you have it. So now let's make some tape. And for this, as I said, I'm going to use the small tape. The third thing I do is I grab myself a piece that's, well, as big as my cutting mat. And I just tape it against my shirt to make it low tech. So I'll show you how I do that. Don't laugh. Okay, so this is the tape and my shirt, and I'm just doing this to make it low tech. Because if you let it stick the way it does, it probably won't come off your paper. And I like it a bit more low tech, so you can reposition it if you're working on a project. Then I just stick it on my mat, and I'm using the guidelines to make sure it's straight so I can stamp easier. And I just leave it on the roll and set the roll aside like that. Okay, so now for the stamping, what shall we do? Okay, let's go with this cool ruler stamp. It's a, I think, Lost Coast. Yes, it's a Lost Coast one, and it's this ruler stamp. So with a small tape like this, you can easily use a border stamp like this because it's almost as wide. But also you can use bigger stamps also, but I'll show you that in another example. So first we'll start with a border stamp. And I'm going for a vintage kind of color. So this is Timber Brown by Stazon. As I said, I like working with Stazon best because it dries fast. And just pressing it down. And yes, I'm using a ruler because I don't have an acrylic block this size. So I figured a ruler would work just fine. Okay, that's our first impression. And we can just go on stamping. Inking it up again. And stamping it. And I like to leave a little bit of room because otherwise, well, the ruler does just only goes until I think 16 or 17 centimeters. So I like it when it's just a bit apart. So there's a new ruler and all. And again, pressing it down. So here you have it, and I'm just going to cut it here because I don't want to make long ends. So this is just a tryout. I'll put it over here and I'll clean my surface. Okay, so when it's dry and well, stays on almost dries instantly, you can wrap it around the little ring. So just getting it. And normally, so the end of the tape would be there with the roll on it. And I'll show you just how I work that. Just rolling it around the ring, making sure it fits nicely. And you can make it as long as you want. Of course, you can use just small ones, but you could also use meters and meters of it. Just what you want, and it's fun to play, so. And normally the ring would be here. So I just would place it up here, this attached, and the roll going on like this, and do another piece. So I'll low tack it and just push it down again and go on with the stamping. I'll show you my next example. And I have myself a cute little tissue tape. Okay, so let's use a background stamp. So, making it low tack and put it on my sheet. And I won't be cutting individual ones this time because it will take too much of a time doing that. But I'll do it after, so. But you've seen the process. Okay, so let's do the alpha one. Let's see where it is. This one. I have the stamp on my block. And I'm just going to get myself a color this time. I think this bright color. And when you use chalk inks, they work very nice too because they dry also fast. And I like to use dark colors because if you use a subtle color, I'll just show you an example of what I did on here. Well, it's almost not visible. I used a chalk ink that was just slightly green. You can hardly tell there's a pattern on it. Well, just a bit, but it's very, very faint. So I like to use dark colors, but you can experiment. So here we go, inking up. And I'm just going on, and now I'm inking up the bottom part because I want to make it more dimensional by using all parts of the stamp. And I'm just lining it up against the other pattern. And that's what I like about clear stamps. You can see through, so it's easily to stamp a long strip like this. And it's not completely stamped, but I don't mind. I like the vintage look of it. So now I'm just inking up the middle and doing it again. Okay, so now I'm at the end of my strip, and what I like to do is dry it a bit with my heat tool because it is a more wet ink, so that's what I'll just do. Okay, and I'm just touching down to see if it stains or not, and if it doesn't, I'll remove the piece. Sticking it on over there and cleaning my surface again. And so now I'm going to roll it up. As I said, I'm not using an individual roll here, but well, you get the picture. So okay, if I want to go further with my design, I just do the same thing, leaving on this roll, leaving on this roll, making it low tack again, and taping it on by leaving just a little bit of the pattern so I can continue easily. So I'll just do that. And when I'm all finished with the length I wanted, of course I dry it off first. And I just take my scissors to the end of the row, cutting it off to make a nice smooth edge to catch on, and rolling it on again. And there you have it, another piece of your own tissue tape. It's as easy as that. And I'll just demonstrate one more. Making it low tack again. Tape it on my surface. And now we're going to work with a random stamp. So let's see, I'm going to use a big swirl. That's actually part of this set. And it's this one, I think, we're using. And this covers quite a bit, so it's easy to work with. And I'm just going to use some black. Stays on in this case. Inking up my stamp. And pressing it down. Make sure to press it down evenly with this big stamp. Okay, so you see I've missed the part, but well, I don't care, it's handmade. I'm just going to twist the stamp a bit to make another pattern. Okay, and as I said, it stays on, almost dries instantly, so I'm just going to remove it. Oops. No. No sticking to each other. Arr. And I'm going to stick it on my roll. So this is the piece we've made with a random pattern. Cute, eh? So there you have it. A way to make your own tissue tape or washi tape. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay? Bye for now. Bye.